Welcome to Retro Sparkle Designs. Today we will be going over the Elowyn dress with the long puff sleeve and the bottom ruffle. We will need 2 sleeve pieces, 6 bow backs, 3 bow centers, 2 main and 2 liner of our back pieces. They are mirrored, and make sure you mark your bow locations. 1 main and 1 liner of our front, 2 skirt pieces, 2 upper sleeve pieces, and 4 ruffle pieces. We will begin by placing all of our bodice pieces right sides up, and then you will be taking your liner back pieces and placing them right sides together with your liner front piece. Go ahead and align the shoulder seams and pin those, and we're going to repeat that with our main pieces. And then go ahead and sew the shoulder seams on both your main and your liner. Now we will be preparing our bows. Take your large bow pieces, and we're going to take 2 of them and place them right sides together. Pin the top and bottom edge for 2 of these pieces. The third one, you are only going to pin the top edge. This will be for the bottom back bow, and that bottom edge will be sewn into the skirt. And then we are going to take our center bow pieces and fold 2 of them in half right sides together, and again pin that short raw edge, and then go ahead and sew these. And again, we're only doing 2 of the centers, as that third center we will fold over that bottom bow, and that raw edge will be sewn into the skirt. Here we have our main and our liner bodice that are finished and our sewn bow pieces. Go ahead and take your bows and flip them right sides out, and then take your centers and also flip those right sides out. For my bow centers, when I flip them right sides out, I do like to use a lighter and kind of cinch the end of my thread so they're not coming unraveled, just because with this pattern our outside edges of the bow center are just being turned in. They're not being fully finished. Now go ahead, set your bow centers aside, and we're going to take our larger bow pieces and we're going to align them with the marks on our bodice. I like to center the bow on that mark. For my upper bow, I do like to just double check that I have at least a 1/4 inch of space between the top of my bow and that raw edge of the neck there. For the bottom bow, this will be the one that was only sewn on the one side. So that bottom raw edge is going to go on the bottom of your bodice. So make sure you're aligning that up with that bottom and pin in place. And now we're going to take our main bodice and we're going to place it right sides together with the liner bodice. This will sandwich the bow pieces in between the 2 bodices. Go ahead and pin your main bodice with your bows together. For this first half, we will only be pinning and sewing the one side and the neckline at first, and this is just so we can place the bows into our other side. Now go ahead and flip the bodice right sides out, and you'll see that we've got our bow pieces sandwiched in between our main and our liner there. And then I like to take that opposite side that isn't sewn and place the liner and the main right sides up. It makes it a little easier to get our bow pieces lined up on there after we get our centers on. So to put the centers on, I like to use a pair of tweezers. I'll take my bow center, put it over the tweezers, and then I will scrunch up my bow so that I can slide the center on over it. So go ahead and repeat that for the top and the middle bow. And then to put the bottom bow center on, what I like to do is I like to center it first on my bow, and then I fold those raw edges in, and then I'm going to fold it over the bow and then pin that bottom, so where all the raw edges are, and then I'll pin that together so it stays in place. And then I'm just going to leave that pin on there until we get our skirt sewn on so the bow center is not moving. Now that our bow centers are all on, we are going to go ahead and align our bows with those notches on the opposite side. So we've got our liner piece again is right sides up. So go ahead and take your bows and we're going to center them on those notches. The bottom bow will of course be aligned with that bottom raw edge of your liner back. Center your middle bow over your notch, and then same with that top bow. With our bows pinned to our liner, we're going to take that main piece that's also right sides up right now, and we're going to place it right sides together with our liner piece. This will sandwich those bows in between the main and the liner back bodice. So pin those together and then sew. So here is the finished bow back part. And again, I'm going to leave that pin on that bottom bow so the center doesn't come undone. And we can set our bodice aside for now. We're going to work on our sleeves. So take your sleeve tops and your sleeve bottoms. And we're going to start out by gathering the top and the bottom of the upper sleeve. When you're gathering the upper sleeve, I like to do the top first and then I mark it with a clip. So here is the gathered sleeve. I've got that clip on the top for each piece. And now we're going to take the sleeve bottom and we're going to place it right sides together with the upper sleeve. So go ahead and line those up. I have used my serger to gather and sometimes I wind up over gathering. So I will start by lining up the edges and then kind of just pull that upper sleeve to fit the bottom half there, and then just go ahead and pin and sew that, and of course repeat for your opposite sleeve. Here is the sleeve fully assembled, and now we will go ahead and add these to our top. With the bodice, I like to just pin the shoulder seams together so the main and the liner stay together where they're supposed to be. And then with our upper sleeve, go ahead and find the actual center of that and put a clip in it. And then we're going to line up the center of the top sleeve and then go ahead and lay the sleeve right sides together with your armicide and align that top point to the shoulder seam. Then align the edge of your sleeve to the edge of your armicide, and then I will kind of again pull the gathers a little looser to make sure that they're fitting appropriately. Then go ahead, do that for the other half of the sleeve, then go ahead, repeat that for your opposite sleeve, and then sew those onto the armicide. Here we have our sleeves fully attached. Our bodice is right sides up. Now go ahead, take your front bodice and you're going to lay it right sides together with your back bodice. Go ahead and pin that side seam and all the way down your sleeve. Go ahead and repeat for the opposite side and then sew both of those. Here's the fully sewn together bodice. Go ahead and flip it right sides out and then quarter the bottom waist. And then I'm going to go ahead and hem my sleeves right now. So fold your raw edges of your sleeves under 1/2 inch and go ahead and top stitch to hem those. Next, we will prepare our skirt. So take both skirt pieces and we're going to place them right sides together. Go ahead and pin along those side seams and sew. Here is that finished skirt piece. We're going to go ahead and quarter the top raw edge and the bottom raw edge. Now we're going to add the skirt to the bodice. So go ahead, take your skirt right sides out, and we're going to kind of align it with the bottom of our bodice, and then we're going to flip our skirt over our bodice. So then the skirt and the bodice will be right sides together. Go ahead, line up those quarter points and pin, and then sew. We can also prepare our ruffle as well. So lay your ruffle pieces out right sides up. And we're going to take one ruffle and place it right sides together with another ruffle piece and just pin one side and repeat that for the other two and then pin and sew. Now that the ruffle pieces are sewn into two pieces, we're going to attach both of those pieces together. So go ahead and make it so those ruffles are both right sides up again. And then we'll take one ruffle, flip it onto the other, right sides together, then align those raw short edges, pin and sew for each raw edge that's left. Here is our full ruffle piece. We're going to go ahead and hem it. So take one raw edge and fold it over wrong sides together, 1/2 inch, pin and sew around that with a top stitch to hem. And we're also going to gather the top edge of our ruffle to the width of our bottom skirt. Okay, so here is our bodice and our skirt that are attached together. Go ahead, flip that right sides out. And then we've got our bottoms of the skirt quartered. And now we have our gathered and hemmed ruffle that we are going to align with our skirt. So our ruffle is already quartered since we've got 4 of those pieces sewn together, and I'm going to align each of those seams with a quarter point on my skirt. So I'll take my ruffle that's right sides up, place it kind of over that bottom of the bodice, align one of those seams with the quarter points and pin, and kind of continue doing that around the skirt. And once I have those quarter points pinned, I will go back through again and kind of pin the halfway mark between each of those quarters. So I kind of make sure my ruffle aligns appropriately, kind of stretch it out a little bit, and then pin the center of that. And I'll do that again all the way around the skirt, and then I'll go ahead and sew my ruffle on. Here is the completed dress. Go ahead and flip it right sides out with that ruffle, and you're all finished.